What's up, kiddos, and welcome back to another Drawing with Trowbro, or should I say Weaving with Trowbro, because today we're going to learn how to make a weaving. Now, a weaving is almost as old as humanity because we've been making clothes. Our clothes are woven. It's a really simple pattern, and you can make some really cool things with it. So get your cardboard, get your yarn ready, and let's go ahead and get started. Here in front of me, I have a cardboard loom that I got off of Amazon, and I use this to make a weaving, all right? And you can make something longer. It could be like a beach towel for your figures or a blanket, or you can just hang it on your wall for like decoration. But I'm gonna show you how to make one. Now, if you don't have a loom like this, that is okay. You don't have to have one of these fancy ones with the nice teeth. Instead, you can actually make your own. You just need a piece of cardboard, you need a ruler, you need some scissors, and maybe a little pin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own little marks up here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a measurement let's do every ½ inch. So one, so I do it a 1, I do 1.5, I do 2, I do 2.5, and I do 3. Then I'm going to come down here. Now if you wanted to, you could make a really, really, really long loom. I mean, they have looms that like make blankets basically, but it's just going to take a lot of work. So I'm going to make one that's a little bit smaller. The one that I showed you earlier makes a pretty big one, and it takes some time. But if you're at home and you want to make some really cool weaving, then it's a really fun project to do. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut into each one of those, and it's about 1/4 inch. Think about like as big as your kind of like your fingernail. I'm gonna go all the way. Now, if it's too hard to cut cardboard, you can always have your parents help you. Come over here and do the same thing. What this is gonna do is gonna give me those teeth that the cardboard loom that I bought off Amazon has. So it doesn't have to be an expensive project. It can be really cheap. I've seen people do it like wood, like logs, and then they do like little nails, and they use nails. So I have this. You can kind of see all the little lines. So next is I'm going to grab a string, something that you have a lot of. Okay, you get a spool. They sell them at Walmart. You can get them for like $1 or so. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to take this string and I'm going to put it between the tooth right here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it. So I'm going to cross it, make a little X, then take the end, stick it through, pull. All right. Now I'm going to do this a couple times just so I have a nice, good knot on my loom, so this doesn't come off. This is fraying, so I might lick my fingers a little bit and twist it. So it's a little point here. There we go. That's a little better. Now this is still attached to my spool. You don't want to detach it just yet. I'm going to tie it one more time just to make sure this knot doesn't come undone while I'm doing my loom. Now, this right here could slide right off, so be careful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to, actually, I don't really like this side, so I'm going to take the string and go all the way down to the end, to that first gap that I cut, okay? Just lay that on the side. And then I bring it all the way down to there. And what you're doing is just going back and forth to each little cut that you did. So then I go down to this one. Now you don't want this to be super tight, because if you make it too tight, it's going to pull it. But you don't want it to be loose either. You don't want it to be like flimsy. You don't want it flimsy. You want it to be taut. So straight, but not collapsing your cardboard. Let's go all the way down until I have my loom strung. One more. And then I'm done. I'm going to tie a knot. Same right here. I'm going to take this string. I'm just going to go underneath it. And you can see it makes a little loop. Stick this end through it. All right, I'm just going to do that a couple times so it doesn't come undone. kind of loose. Tie it one more time, and that should be good for... That shouldn't come undone. I hope not. Clean it up just a little bit. All right, now I'm going to start down here at the bottom for my weaving, and let's start with something maybe like purple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get maybe like an arm's length of purple. You can't leave this on. You're going to have to cut it off. So getting like a nice arm's length. You don't want it to be too short because then you'll have to like replace it in 2 seconds, but you don't want it too long either because we got to weave this. So I'm going to start by tying this to my loom. I think this is called the waft, and then you weave the weft. Some fun weaving jargon. The waft. So I think these black strings are the waft, and this purple string I'm going to weave, and it becomes the weft. The weft. W-E-F-T. So I like to do it like this. So I'm starting at the bottom, okay, and my string is on top. Now this is where the weaving pattern comes in. All right, always over under. You always kind of do the opposite of what you did before. So since my string is on top, this next black string I'm going to go underneath, and then I'm going to go on top of that next string, go under the next one. Okay, so I go under that one, and then I go above that one, and I go under this one. And then I pull my string all the way through. And so it should look like over, under, over, under, over, under. And it's really easy to like do under twice or go over twice by accident. So kind of make sure that you're paying attention. Now, when I go back, I'm going to weave again, but you got to do the opposite of what you did before. So last, okay, right there, I went underneath. So that means now I need to go on top. So what I do is I just pick up every other one. So I pick up that one, leave that one alone, pick up this one, go under, and then this last one, pick it up, and then I just pull it all the way through. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting, okay? I don't want to pull this too tight to move the waft. That black, I want it to stay straight. So once I get close to the end, I kind of just press it down a little bit. You can kind of tell, like, oh man, you're going to have to do one line at a time. It's going to take some time. Yes, it is going to take some time. Luckily for me, I can hit the speed up, and you can watch me do this in like 30 seconds. But for me, I got to sit here in real time and do this. So I did the same thing. You always do the opposite. So I went over, under, over, under, over, under, pull it through, press it down. Last thing I did was I went under, so now I'm going to go over. So just remember, just look and see what you did. I went under, so that means I go over and then under that one, under this one, and under this one, and pull through. All right, let's do a little time lapse for the purple. All right, now I'm going to switch colors, and to switch colors, I'm going to tie my next piece of string onto this one. I'm trying to think of, I've got 3 colors. I usually pick like 3 colors, and then I do kind of like a pattern or something. So I think I might go, let's do green. So I get another arm's length. So I just kind of extend my arms all the way, and then I cut it. Now to tie these together, I think the easiest way, instead of trying to cross them, is I just put them together and pretend like it's one piece of string, okay? And then I just cross them. Okay, sometimes I'll put my finger, I cross it around it, and then I take my finger out, and then you just have that little loop, and you put these 2 ends through that loop, and then pull it, and then just ties them together. All right? Just like when you take like a piece of string, and you just, to tie a knot, you just cross it, and then take the end through the hole, and then pull it. And I don't want to do that, but that's all I'm doing. I just do them together so that when they make that knot, they are together. I'm going to cut off the extra. All right, and then I'm doing another time lapse of my green. All right, so I could keep going on, but I think this is good. It looks kind of like a nice, fun little flag. So to finish, like let's say you go all the way to the end, I'm just going to tie this. I'm going to go around the last part of the waft, and I'm going to pull it through. Same thing, just tie in knots. Just go around, make a little loop, and then just pull the end through the loop. Just do that a couple times just so I have a steady knot that it's not going to slide off. Da-da-da. And then, okay, it's time to get this off of my loom. So now that that's there, I'm going to cut that off. Man, the scissors are not good right down there. Okay, so now let's cut off my loom. Da-da. Carefully pull this off. There we go. Be careful, you don't want to pull this too much. All right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I've got 2 strings, 2 strings, 2 strings. What I'm going to do is this part of the weft, it can still slide off. So what I want to do is I'm going to take these 2 strings right here, cross them, just like you're tying your shoes. Now don't pull super tight. If I keep pulling, the strings will pull. So right when I get to the weft, I stop, and then I'm going to do that again. Remember, don't pull too tight. The third one, I think I should be able to pull tight. It'll stop it. All right? Then I'm going to do that for this next 2 strings. Stop when I get to the weft. Cross pull. Third one. Okay, and then here we go. And 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to trim this up. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So these are really long. I might trim these a little bit just because they're so long. There we go. So separate them to, if you have a really long loom, this might take a while. So take the first 2, cross, pull. A lot of knot tying and weaving. Okay, the next dos. Dos is 2 in Spanish. 1, 2, and 3 knots. I feel like the Count from Sesame Street. 3 knots. 1, 2, and 3. Trim. Make sure that I'm using the back end of the scissors because they're way sharper. And then I've got my nice little, I like it, looks cool. Could be a beach towel for, I should have had Donatello, but unfortunately I have Raphael, so I got his beach towel. He can go to the beach and get some sun, and that is how you do a weaving. Well, kiddos, I hope you had fun making your weaving. I think it's very therapeutic to make something that's very meticulous, just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And then some people drive them crazy, but we're all different, and so I hope you had fun making your weaving, and stay tuned, and I will see you next time on Drawing with Trowbro.